Hey everybody, welcome to Ask Dr. Testosterone, starring Dr. George Antoulianos and brought to you by his book, available on Amazon, The Bible of Bodybuilding. Christmas is coming, guys. Everything you need to know in there about training, nutrition, supplementation, PEDs. Get that for yourself for Christmas or someone you love. And while you're getting them books, get Real Bodybuilding by Ron Harris, the greatest book. And now, all the way from Athens, Greece, please welcome Dr. George Antoulianos. Hey, George, how are you?
Hello, Ron. Actually, yesterday, last night, I made the announcement that I'm preparing a new improved version of the Bible that is going to have the Q&As from our show. So another 30 perhaps questions, so totally 60 Q&As, which is really useful because it's pre-digested food, actually.
Yeah.
It's the knowledge that you have, and also you answer it itself, and very valuable questions from the audience.
And we do get a lot of the same questions over and over and over.
Yeah, repeatedly, but I'm picking up those that are really to the bone, So this week, the bodybuilding community is mourning for the passing of one of the greatest, the most important people, he almost reached 196, Jim Lorimer, and to him we owe the how Arnold Classic is big, along with the extra, along with the show. And in your show, you revealed some really cool details that he was way ahead of his time and organizing shows. So he brought Arnold from London to New York with a time difference with a Learjet in order to compete, and this was the beginning of the Arnold's era in the States.
Yeah. That was the first time. So that was 1970 Mr. World, and that's where Arnold beat Sergio Oliva. And then I think a month later he beat him at the Olympia and became Mr. Olympia. So
yeah, it was the end of the Oliva era. Oliva was in his prime, after the three consecutive titles, and then Arnold was a rising star, And I watched a documentary and I posted on Instagram about Jim Lorimer. He was so intelligent and very. He was knowing what he's talking about. He was a first class and a gentleman. He reminded me a little bit of Peter McGuff. He was very knowledgeable about the sport, about the genetics, about the potential of the sports. He said that documentary was in 2000. He said in 20 years from now, the bodies will be different,
Wow.
It was Flex Wheeler, and now we have Rami, for instance, because everything evolves.
Yeah. And
he said, basically, there's no limit to the physical performance, and to the levels that a human body can reach.
Yeah. And you also we were talking about the fact that Arnold and Jim Lorimer were in business for about 50 years.
No, they shake hands like the old-fashioned way. This is what Arnold said at the last Arnold. I was there, and Lorimer also was there. Yeah. Like the old-fashioned way, like real men, we shake hands. There were no contracts,
Yeah. Your word back in the old days, your word was your bond.
Yeah.
A man was only as good as his word back in the old days.
Yeah, we say in Greece that a man is wearing trousers, not skirts.
Well, in America, they can wear skirts now if they want. So that's Greece. Anyway, let's get into some questions, Doctor. We got a lot of questions this week, some good ones. First one is, I'm taking 250 milligrams test a week, and my last blood test hemoglobin is 20. Hematocrit was 60. I just had a sleep study done. The doctor told me I do not have sleep apnea, but my blood oxygen level was low. Does the thick blood cause low blood oxygen, or does blood oxygen cause thick blood? And are there anabolics that do not increase the thickness of blood? I currently donate blood regularly and take omega-3s with every meal.
So this is a classic case that I'm also facing. I have analyzed this comprehensively and repeatedly, that you don't need to blast grams of gear in order to increase your hemoglobin, because it's something classic what steroids do. They treat anemia. Obviously, this guy thinks that with 250 cruising, this is a TRT. No, this is above the levels of the replacement therapy. The highest should be 200. And the more you're using on a regular basis, the sooner you're going to meet the phlebotomy or the blood donation. So, of course, 20 is a lot. He should be between 17 and 18 to be safer. So, on the other hand, you shouldn't donate that frequent, because you kick your system with a technical hemorrhage, and the system realizes this. So I have to make more red blood cells. And this depends on the lifespan of the red blood cell, which is 90 to 120 days. So if you donate frequent, more than 3 to 4 times per year, then you have the rebound effect. Okay, so apart from hydration, and now if there's no sleep apnea, you need to hydrate. You need to take aspirin because it thins the blood. Fish oil the same, and for those that have the enzymatic deficiency of G6PD. And also there are some medications like telmisartan that lower EPO, pentoxifylline that improve the circulation, and also you need to divide your dose into smaller doses, which is called microdosing. This way you avoid the spiking of the DHT that reflects also on the hematocrit, and also you avoid the spiking of the estrogens that sometimes are pre-thrombotic. So lower your dose to 200 milligrams and do it in 2 doses of 100 milligrams twice a week. So cut the week in half, 3.5 days, let's say Monday and Thursday. And now, the more viscous the blood, it's the harder for the erythrocyte to pass through the tiny capillary networks and the struggle. And this sometimes causes hypoxia, even though you're supposed to have a higher oxygen capacity. Sometimes you don't think that clear, your cognitive function goes down because there's, the erythrocytes struggle to pass through those tiny capillary network, and it's not the ideal. So you have to lower your viscosity, and actually the oxygenation of the blood is also depending on other factors, like if you're a smoker, if you have sleep apnea, okay? Because when you have sleep apnea, you wake up in a bad mood because of low oxygen to the brain, okay? Short-term amnesia, you don't think that clear. So you got to fix this by dropping a weight, because the thicker your neck, then the more narrow the pharynx that passes the air through the pharynx going to the larynx. You can sleep on the left side to avoid snoring, because snoring that leads to apnea occasionally occurs when you're sitting on this position and the jaw drops.
Yeah, that's how I sleep.
Otherwise, you apply CPAP mask, but some people just snore. They do not lead to apnea. Apnea is waking up with this choking feeling, and this is when EPO kicks, because it's technical, it's an asphyxia, okay? So just snoring is a benign, is a malignant form of breathing, but it doesn't lead to apnea always. There are also thin, skinny people that snore.
Really?
Has to do with the nasal, yeah.
Well, I thought it was just the fatter I get, the more I snore. And the last question that he said in there, all steroids thicken the blood, correct?
It's all steroids. Now, hypothetically, those that are not high androgenic, they do not cause kick in the DHT, but this is a myth, because nandrolone is low androgenic. It's perfect for the ladies also, but still nandrolone kicks your EPO. If you join in your TRT, you're going to increase your hemoglobin also, because also nandrolone is treating anemia. So it's not always equal to the androgenicity. Let's say that halotestosterone trebolone will give you an enormous hematocrit. Also, stanozolol treats anemia, which is low androgenic. Yes, all the steroids,
Okay. All right. Next question about steroids. Can steroids cause cramps and bad blood circulation? When I up the dose, I get muscle spasms when I do a sudden move, and sometimes my arms and legs get kind of numb. I usually take testosterone, sometimes equipoise, and oral steroids here and there. Wow, numbness. You ever hear about that?
Numbness, if it's accompanied by growth hormone, yes, but numbness is a feeling of mainly circulation, but also it could be the compressing of the median nerve, that is the carpal tunnel syndrome. But if you have spasm, check out your electrolytes, because probably you're low in magnesium and calcium.
Okay.
Usually when we take diuretics, always in the middle of the summer, and we don't take electrolytes, we have some cramps and spasms, because it's the electrolyte imbalance.
Gotcha. Okay. This next one's long, doctor, so be ready for this. Is HCG monotherapy better than TRT for life? There's a lot of debate on this subject, but no one can give me a clear answer. I've been on TRT plus HCG for 1 year and a few months. I'm doing 200 to 250 Sustanon or Enanthate underground labs, split into 2 shots Monday and Thursday, and HCG 1500 IU split into 3 shots Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Why do I feel a lot more libido and a lot more horny when I stop ART and just stay on HCG? Is it because I'm using underground labs testosterone? Also, if I miss my testosterone shot, my libido goes through the roof. On the other hand, if I miss my HCG shot, my libido goes down the toilet. Also, just staying just on testosterone without HCG feels like my sex drive and desire goes down the toilet as well. Why is this happening? Shouldn't testosterone alone be enough for high sex drive and libido? What do you think? Would HCG monotherapy be sustainable for life? What about downregulation? I read research and dosage of HCG up to 10,000 IU a week for years, and there was no downregulation. Interesting.
I don't believe in that doses and no downregulation. But actually, we introduce HCG into the TRT regimen after a while because the balls shrink and there's no intratesticular testosterone synthesis. Besides, when you introduce exogenous testosterone, there's no synthesis of the testosterone from cholesterol. So we use HCG as a libido enhancer. We increase the intratesticular testosterone that matures also the sperm. That's why HCG also kind of restore fertility. But also it improves your sex drive, your cum volume, and your ball size.
Yeah.
But HCG monotherapy actually is not as good as testosterone. Nothing replaces testosterone. Yet with HCG, you can still have a production of intratesticular testosterone, but you cannot reach levels like the exogenous ones of the testosterone. Now, if you don't use, as I said, HCG, due to the homeostasis, the balls will shrink. So you retain this. And actually, HCG monotherapy shuts off the brain because it's an LH mimicker. So the ideal thing is to use combination of them. Well, HCG is superb than SERMs. Definitely, it's much better. It kicks the balls in first size, in first place.
Yeah.
And actually, that's what I'm doing also, microdosing of testosterone and HCG. Do not abuse HCG because indirectly will increase the estrogen through this enormous increase of the testosterone that have a negative then effect on the libido if they are super high. And also check out your shbg because it could be elevated. You may need also to introduce some steroid or DHT synthetic, or even change your protocol and instead of microdosing, do a larger dose in order to crash on a shbg.
Yeah, he says that the study showed no downregulation, but
I don't believe John Chrysler, the late John Chrysler, said that it is downregulation, and I've seen that in people who abuse during the PCT HCG 5,000 IUs for a few weeks, and it doesn't work this way. No, doesn't mean more is better. There was a guy today at the office. He was using 300 clomid. Come on, are you serious? Do you think this works? Of course not.
Wow.
You only get side effects. And by the way, too much of clomid will raise your SHBG and will lower your free testosterone. So more is no better. You have to respect the hormones. It doesn't mean that more is better,
Yeah, I mean, we did a show O'Connor years ago, and he had patients who were
blind.
They tried to use HCG for their hormone replacement, and he said there was a downregulation after a certain amount of time, whereas you don't see that with testosterone. You can use testosterone forever, but HCG.
There's also the theory that the androgen receptors become desensitized, So we discussed this also, but frankly, this guy should use legitimate stuff, okay? I'm not sure if the testosterone is underdosed or if it's nothing. Somebody was using 500 milligrams and his blood were 125.
Wow.
Yeah, 1/4,
Wow.
And imagine what, a cheap compound like test. Imagine what about the expensive roids, huh?
Must be like vegetable oil is all they're getting. Wow. Question about stimulants, doctor. I know stimulants are potentially dangerous, but what is more dangerous for health? 25 milligrams of Ephedrin Hcl or 25 milligrams DMAA/DMHA?
No, the DMA thing is a supplement, I think.
Well, they took it off. They took it off the market years ago. They were putting it in.
It's a supplement, it's a herb. It's not a medical compound, a chemical compound.
Okay.
It's not a drug, right? Because ephedrine hydrochloride, if it's combined with caffeine and aspirin, they're all pharmaceutical grade compounds. And we know that drugs are more dangerous than herbs. Of course, too much of DMA may give you arrhythmia, but certainly ephedrine can give you a heart attack and a stroke.
Jeez, yeah.
And it happened, somebody was taking all the bottle of hydroxycut in Florida in the 90s. And after that, they withdraw, out of this incident, you know?
Yeah. It's like, yeah, if you drink a whole gallon of vodka, you're going to die too, you know?
Exactly. It's a bad use.
Silly rabbits. Next question. Do DHT derivatives such as Proviron and Primo have more of an impact on the prostate and hair compared to other types of steroids?
Well, DHT itself, yes, it feeds the prostate and also the derivatives.
Mm.
And the less harm on the prostate is perhaps DECA because it metabolized to the hydronandrolone. All right.
Yep.
And actually, if you want to protect your prostate, you should take testosterone and dutasteride and nothing else. And it's fine because only testosterone is capable to be blocked by the antiandrogens, no other compound.
Mm. Yeah. And there's still that myth going around. It will not die. TRT will give you prostate cancer.
No, it does not. It does not. It will enlarge, but enlargement of the prostate has nothing to do with the malignancy of the prostatic cancer. And besides, we observe prostatic cancer in men with low testosterone because the estrogens also take part. And Spatini said in Balance My Hormones video that men with prostate cancer that are receiving testosterone live longer than those men with prostate cancer and low testosterone.
Wow. Okay.
Crazy, yeah?
If that doesn't destroy the myth, I don't know what does. That's great there. Well, we love Viagra and Cialis questions. I do anyway. I think it's fascinating. Have you tried sublingual Viagra? I'm using it every day and find it superior at 25 milligrams to 5 milligrams Cialis. Great for pumps and boners. I think sublingual route has a longer T1/2. Or what does that mean? As well, since it tends to last me all day. Well, I don't think Viagra never lasts all day. That's Cialis.
No, it kicks very fast. I've used it sublingually. Okay.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you need to have an empty stomach.
Mm.
So I was walking after my office on the way to the girlfriend in order to sleep with her.
Okay.
And I said, I just had my dinner now. I should take it sublingually. And it freaking worked, yes. Because it goes straight to the bloodstream, just like the status I'm telling you. So yes, of course, but if you take too much of it, then it can give you a headache because it vasodilates the blood vessels and it's nasty over here, the temporal lobes.
So, okay, so you shouldn't take Viagra on a full stomach is what you're saying.
No, it's not absorbed good. Well,
really?
No. Because I tried that. I had peanut butter before and it didn't work, man.
Wow.
Because it's not absorbed with a fatty meal.
Oh,
okay, if you take it if you drink it with water, but I didn't want to risk that, so I let it dissolve to the tongue. I had a walk of 30 minutes, and I had a boner as soon as I went to home. You know.
So this is interesting because I guarantee you, the way a lot of men use Viagra, you know, married men who have to really jump through hoops to get sex, they'll take their wife or girlfriend, whatever, to a restaurant for a big meal. And then they'll take the Viagra and they think as soon as we get
you don't have sex after a meal. Come on.
I mean, you know.
Because it's like exercise. All the blood goes to the viscera, all to the muscle. So there's no enough blood left for your dick.
Yeah. And women can always use that excuse. I'm too full. I'm too full. They don't want to, they don't want to get poked with a penis. Anyway, sorry, guys. We're going crazy here today. GH question. This was not on the questions I gave you, doctor, but somebody sent it to me on Instagram yesterday, and I know you'll know the answer. He wanted to know, he's been on growth hormone for 3 or 4 weeks, and he's already seeing water retention. Should he be seeing it that quickly? And
Depends on the dose. It also depends on the diet, but GH certainly does fluid retention. And personally, when I was using 5 IUs of genotropin, frankly, I couldn't wear my watch.
Wow.
My wrist was bloated. Of course, it was summer also, that you have a little bit of bloat in the summer.
Yeah.
But GH increases the fluid retention, and that's why it causes edema.
And it never goes down as long as.
Of course, it does. Within a week, you can if you lower the dose in half. But taking a diuretic, it's not that the smartest thing to do. You need to lower the dose, okay?
Yeah. So if you're on like 2 to 3 IUs, you shouldn't really see too much water retention.
Yeah, I don't think so. No.
Okay, but 5 IUs and up, you probably see more.
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. All right. A couple more. Lately, I've been feeling off balance. I'm on TRT 150 milligrams weekly for 2 years. Bloods are good. Only thing I see possibly is my SHBG is always low at 11 and ferritin is on the low normal at 42. Also, last lab showed my TSH at 5.9. Could any of these markers cause this feeling? Thank you, Dr. T.
Certainly, the TSH of 6 is downregulation of the thyroid, then perhaps you have clinical hypothyroidism. You should check out your antibodies and TPO-RTG in case you have Hashimoto. Now, low ferritin means that you have low iron stores. That's why also you feel tired, and perhaps if you're donating or if you're not consuming enough of the red meat and iron, iron needs also vitamin C to be absorbed, and no coffee and no calcium, so no dairy products. That's my take on that.
Okay. Here's a good one. I don't know if you know the answer, is there a way to get testosterone in the US without the constant doctor visits? My doctor sees me every couple months at $140 a visit just to ask how I'm doing and write the prescription for the next couple months. It sucks. Well, welcome to America.
I don't think this $140 is a crazy fee for a doctor. I mean, an escort will ask you for $500 for an hour. Dude. Or an FB Pro will ask for $1,000 in order to guest pose.
I mean, a plumber won't come to your house, or an electrician won't come to your house to fix anything without $200 or $300.
I've heard that the lawyers in the States charge $500 for 1 hour, consulting.
The good ones, yeah, of course, yeah. So yeah, $140.
Well, if you don't want the prescription, just get it underground, But to me, health is wealth, so it's the best investment you can do.
Yeah. And
there's no price for me. If I had a problem, I wanted the best doctor, I would beat my ass to find the money and go for him. When I wanted to have surgery in my lower back, I found the best. And in order to visit him, I stay out of my office. So I back off my patients and my appointments because I wanted to consult the best. And of course, there was no excuse for me not to pay or something like that,
Yeah. But I should also let this guy know. I mean, there are clinics, there are hormone replacement clinics. Like we know Andre Miller from Frontline, and people, Fix My Hormone. A few people. They run these companies. In the USA, we have companies, and you do see a doctor.
I don't think they take insurance, those guys. They just cash.
No, they don't take insurance. It's cash. You're right, but you could see a doctor on a Zoom call or a phone call, but they do make you get your blood work done and everything. There are different ways to go about it, but I agree with you. $140 every couple months, that's not a lot of money, guy, to get legitimate. You're getting legitimate testosterone. It's not underground. Your blood's being monitored, hopefully. So, I mean, health is your wealth, really. Think about it. I don't think that's an excessive amount. But yeah, there are these clinics if you don't want to. Actually, yeah, you're right. I think the clinics, you probably end up spending more money because it's usually out of pocket, but you won't have to go.
But imagine how much money you spend in other things, entertainment or food, nutrition, supplementation, recreational drugs, cars, cell phones, rents.
Well, people spend, just to give you a silly example, I know people that golf. How much money just to belong to some country club, they can golf there during the warm months. They'll spend like $50,000 a year just for a country club membership to use their golf course.
What a waste of money.
I mean, that's as much money as some people make in a whole year in the US. So yeah, it's whatever you put your priority on, whatever you want to spend your money on, what's important to you. Final question, insulin. Finally, I've been hearing a lot about the role of insulin in building muscle. Is there anything I should be eating at certain times to make the body release insulin? Also, what can I do about constant muscle cramps? Everyone's getting cramps. What's going on? Is this a consequence of gear? But let's talk about insulin release and food.
You have to know that if you abuse the insulin release, you become fat. It's just like abusing the injectable insulin. The only difference is that you're not going to pass out and faint and perhaps have a coma.
Yeah.
But that's how visceral fat is made in obese people. They're eating too much. The endogenous insulin creates the visceral fat, just like the exogenous insulin abuse. So this is the physiology of the insulin. Now, first of all, to kick a good response in the pancreas, we need insulin sensitivity, which is right after training, because you're already burned out your glycogen. You're 2 hours after your meal, when you go in train and another hour of pushing the gear. So post-workout and perhaps first in the morning. And second, you need hyperglycemic carbs with high glycemic load and also high glycemic index. Both.
Yeah.
High glycemic index comes without fiber, and high glycemic load comes with the amounts of carbs. All right.
Yeah.
And also you may use alpha lipoic acid, 500 milligrams or 1 gram in every meal to increase your insulin response.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I'm going to give my little meathead bodybuilder hack. When I want to kick up my insulins right after the workout, I don't do the carbs during the training like Milos says. A lot of people do that. They want the insulin release to get the essential aminos in there and the creatine and all that. But I do it right after the training, 50 grams of whey protein isolate. And then with that, I used to have like gummy worms or Skittles, candy, something that's pure sugar, no fat. Lately I've been doing
sugar as sucrose.
I think so. I couldn't,
because we say that the ideal thing is maltodextrin with disaccharide.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, a lot of the products that they sell are cyclic dextrin, the carb powders.
Dextrose also is very high glycemic index.
Yeah. But that's when I want I believe the best times to kick up your insulin right after training. And then, yeah. And then right after the next meal, I usually will have like chicken breast and white rice because the white rice is pretty high glycemic.
Yes.
But yeah, but you don't want to be doing that all day.
Or
and all night.
A baked regular potato.
Yeah. But like you said, if you do that all day and night, you're just going to get fat.
Yes.
So don't do it, guys.
Same with you when you want to eat donuts with insulin, you became fat. Milos told you it's about what you eat also.
It was cookies. I was eating cookies. Boy, did I get fat. Well, I wasn't talking to Milos at the time. I should have consulted him. Oh, well. Anyway, so doctor, you are getting back. You never got out of shape, but you're getting back into photo shoot ready shape again.
Yeah, so exactly in 14 days from today, I'll be shooting with Alex Ardenti and Per Bernal.
Nice.
Monday with Alex, Tuesday with Per in LA, the Venice.
Yeah.
And yes, my body weight was 198 on this weekend. Yeah, I think I look good. Perhaps I'm gonna take only and supplement diuretic because this is what is allowed to carry with you. Yeah, of course, I'm going to take the day of the trip, my last dose in TRT. Yeah. You know, perhaps an extra anti-estrogen the day of the trip to keep me low, increase perhaps my Proviron, but that's all, you know. I want to look healthy. Fortunately, I don't have any breaky and any acne, you know, and I hope that Steve will listen to my prayers and have me on the cover the next year.
It's a great picture. And I assume you're gonna eat what you want at the Olympia. You can go off your diet a little.
I think so. Yeah, I'll increase a little bit the carbs, but if I do too much, then I won't fit to the suits. You know.
You do have some nice suits, Doc. I gotta hand it to you.
Yeah.
Very well. You and Giles are the two best dressed people associated
Giles is
with.
Very well dressed. Yeah, like a gentleman, tailor made everything. Yeah.
Well, you both are. You both got
shoes are so classy. His shoes. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I have one suit that's for funerals, weddings, and court. That's it. So, oh well, maybe I'll bring that one. We'll see. Well, anyway, Doc, I'm looking forward to seeing you again in real life. It's been a while. I haven't seen Giles since the 2020 Arnold.
Yes.
Was that the last show I saw you at?
Yeah, no, I was also last March, but Giles, was before the pandemic.
Did you come out here last March? No.
Yes, of course. Come on.
No, the Olympia. I'm sure the Arnold was in October last year.
No.
Yeah, 2021.
Last Arnold was in March.
This year it was in March. Did you come out for that?
Yeah, this year.
I can't remember anything. I need to take some ginkgo biloba. Anyway, whatever it is, I look forward to seeing you again.
This is my second Olympia in Las Vegas as well. Yes.
Yeah. I'm psyched it's coming back to Vegas. That's where it really belongs, I feel. It's a great city for shows and contests and just excitement. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe, hit that notification bell up in that corner so you know all the great video content we have coming out. We appreciate you watching. And if you have questions for the doctor for the next episode, please put them in the comments, and also like the video, share the video, do all that stuff if you like these videos. And we will see you right here next time on Ask Dr. Testosterone. Good times. Hey, did you like that video? Smash that like button, subscribe to MD, and please comment down below. Thanks for watching.